All right, here we go. Here we go. This time, once again, except for on new time. This time. So instead of the normal evening edition, due to this wonderful first time ever playoff triple header,
Super wild card weekend.
super excited. We're going to be doing this short. I guess I wouldn't say short, but two-part show today, tomorrow. We're going to break down the games per their day. Keep it 3-3. Give us, some leeway here, but at the same time, keep things where we want it. Keep it going. Boom. 3 of us.
3.
Potentially 4. Later on, there's going to be, if not today, then tomorrow. We'll have Jason in here talking about the Chicago-New Orleans game, which is tomorrow. But that's that. That's not today. Today, we're going to stick where we are. We got Indy, Buffalo, Rams, Seattle, Bucks, Washington football team. I'm excited. I think it's going to be a good day of football. But I think today you're going to see some teams separate themselves from the rest. I'm most excited for, as much as I hate to say it, the Colts Bills game. Because it's my personal belief that of the AFC, Buffalo is probably the strongest team to rival Kansas City. They're playing the best right now in my mind. Just winners of their last 6 straight now. And it's not just winning by a field goal. They're blowing teams out. And obviously they play Miami twice a week. But if you're going to destroy going into that game the number 1 defense the way you did, you pretty much had them taken care of by halftime. That says a lot. I unfortunately am on the Buffalo bandwagon, which is where we will start today. So there's some interesting things here. Right off the bat, we got a nice little tidbit. I like it. It's going to be.
What do you like?
Hopefully a good day for Buffalo. They are playing at home for the first time since '96. And they're actually going to have fans in the stands today. 6,700 fans will be in the stands in Buffalo. Since '95, Buffalo is 0-5 in the postseason, including last season's wild card loss to the Texans when they had a 16-point lead and blew it in overtime.
Fans in the stands.
I think that's a big difference. You get some fans in there, that Buffalo crowd goes nuts.
Yeah.
They're going to love that. So that's going to be good stuff.
So how long did you have to practice to say all that in the beginning?
It did.
I know it was hard for you.
I hated it, okay? I hated it. But I don't hate what I do, and that's talk about football.
There you go.
So that's where I'm at. Honestly, they're looking to break that 5-game losing streak in the postseason. They obviously dating back to '95. They could have that tough loss. But again, they're hot. They're super hot right now. All time, unfortunately, they have a losing record in the playoffs. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're 0-4 in the Super Bowl all time. That's terrible. But on the opposite end of the spectrum, you got the Indianapolis Colts. Phillip Rivers, I thought the Phillip Rivers signing going into this season was a huge ordeal. And obviously, he gets into the playoffs. And you see good stretches of football from Phillip Rivers. But I think the biggest question is what Phillip Rivers is going to show up today, in that cold field in Buffalo.
Right.
Well, what do you guys think about that?
I mean, it's going to be very cold. It's going to be out of the environment from what the Colts are used to. They're used to a controlled climate, so it might actually play a factor in the Bills' favor.
I just don't really know. I mean, I think the Colts have some good guys on their defensive line. I think they're gonna have their opportunities to create havoc. Whether or not it happens, I think, is going to depend on whether the Colts stay close. I don't think, who's going to guard Stephon Diggs? Even at 75%, I don't really see anybody who's going to stay with him. There's just going to be guys who are going to be open. They're going to run the ball. And I think the MVP of their year, Josh Allen, is just going to continue to lead the football team in the correct direction.
I agree. Yeah, I feel like the emergence of Josh Allen has been the difference. Obviously, you had Aaron Rodgers win an MVP last night, or a couple nights ago. I just saw it yesterday, but I feel like Josh Allen was up there. I feel like his play right now at the quarterback position, he is up there. If you look at what he's done for this team, you take Josh Allen away, the Bills aren't really going to do what they're doing. It's just not happening. He set franchise records this year in passing yards and touchdowns.
I'm just, nothing against Aaron Rodgers, but I feel like such a cop out. Such a cop out. He was there, last year. And again, I felt like his talent then brought the team to a different place. The offensive system is much better this year, and it utilizes everybody's strengths. How are you going to sit here and tell me that Aaron Rodgers was more valuable to the Green Bay Packers than Josh Allen was to the Buffalo Bills? And again, we're only talking about teams that are in the playoffs. I think there's a lot of players that aren't even on teams that are in the playoffs that should be candidates for this. But again, it's just a cop-out award, and I feel like it always goes to a quarterback. It's just I feel like the MVP, in my opinion, in the NFL is getting a little watered down. They don't look at anyone besides quarterbacks. So it's just disappointing.
Well, I can honestly say the same thing in the sense of Defensive Player of the Year. Of course, they gave it to T.J. Watt. I think that's hilarious. I don't know. I don't know how you want to look at it. How you want to say 15 sacks is more valuable than 10 interceptions, but that's just me.
What about Aaron Donald? You're talking 13 and a half sacks from the defensive tackle position. It's double teams every time. 3 guys touching this guy, and you're talking T.J. Watt only had a sack and a half more, and he's an edge rusher. You have one-on-ones against tackles. This guy's going against centers and guards who are mauling him. Then a fullback, running back. He's getting hit possibly 4 times, and he still comes out. Again, disgrace. I think Aaron Donald or Xavier Howard would have been better choices. I think it's hard sometimes to quantify how important a cornerback is, even on a season where they have 10 interceptions. Obviously, that's 10 created drives for your offense that they weren't going to have before. But I just feel like the Defensive Player of the Year award is flawed also. It goes to people who are the top names, people who talk about him. Obviously, Aaron Donald's talked about, but he's a D tackle. That's not glamorous.
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing glamorous about the position.
Yeah, absolutely. I just feel as though there are tons of better MVP candidates. I just think there's tons of more MVP candidates, and you're absolutely right. It's gotten watered down, and I just feel like when you hear the word MVP, a lot of people think about stats. But it's not necessarily about the stats. It's about which player is most effective on their team.
Right.
And which player is the best player that is effective on their team. And to be honest, there was a bunch of other guys offensively and defensively. And I mean, they chose their man, so
it is what it is. I feel like there's a lot of I wonder, is this like, I want to do a little more deep into this. I'm not quite sure who does the voting for MVPs. Is it coaches or is it
if I'm not believe it should be Associated Press, right?
Well, okay, so again,
Yeah.
see, like that's just bad. You know, like how are we not having people who play against or coach against these people? I feel like most awards should only be handed out because coaches vote for them or players vote for them. Like this, people outside of organizations or outside of the NFL organization, it's just crazy to me how they decide who the most valuable player was from the arm seat, of their couch.
I'm with you. But yeah, back to the wonderful game here. Just recoup back here. The last time, obviously, we talked about the Bills being the last time in the playoffs. The last time the Colts were in the playoffs was 2019 divisional round. They lost to Kansas City 31-13, got blown out. So it's good to see them back there. It's funny because we have two organizations with losing records facing each other, like in the playoffs all the time. They both have losing records, so it's funny. The one thing I looked into a little more in depth there, the Colts are 7-6 in the wild card, and I believe.
Sorry, guys, we have some connection issues.
I'm gonna double check this because I was just looking at it. I want to say the Bills are very similar to that. They might be like 4-5 in the wild card round. So it's
a possibility. I mean, outside of those years where they went to the 3 straight Super Bowls, it was a lot of wild card one and done type situations. So I think the biggest thing right now is it's just Josh Allen. I got a lot of respect for Phillip Rivers. I got a lot of respect for what they do. But I mean, in the last 3 games, this team scored 47 points on average. So they're just smoking people. I mean, this is just not even. It's not even fair. We were watching that last game of the season, Dolphins Bills, thinking, okay, the Dolphins D is going to do something to really change the situation, do something to alter the course of this game. And the Bills were just like 2 steps in front of the Dolphins defense, who had up to that point had played exceptional football all year long.
So like you were saying, the Bills
3-5 in the wild card.
Yeah, and they're 5-6 in divisional games. So just make no mistake that the Bills, they're not no slouches when it comes to them being in the playoffs.
No.
And to be honest, I just hope that the Colts don't come out here and Frank Reich just underestimate these guys. These guys have been playing their best football all year. There have been some downs, in their season, but overall they have been playing their best football. I think arguably they have been the complete best team this season.
Yep. Up to this point, I agree with that statement 100%.
Oh, yeah. Well, if you look at it, again, like we were talking about, so their last loss, they lost back-to-back games. They beat the Jets, then they lost to the Chiefs 26-17, and they got smoked in Tennessee 42-16.
Yep.
And that was kind of the wake-up call for Buffalo, it appears to be. They went on to beat the Raiders 30-23. They beat the Rams, a playoff team, 35-32. Obviously, they beat Miami. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. I had this rolled around. I told this down. I had it rolled around. That was early in the season. So they were rolling early, and then they went into a slump. They lost to the Cardinals by 2, and then they started beating up on teams. They beat the Chargers. They beat the 49ers. Beat the Steelers. Smoked the Broncos, which was kind of I guess that was kind of when people were like, oh, hey, check this out, because they went to Mile High and just walked all over the Broncos. And then smothered the Patriots the following week in prime time, and then almost dropped the 60 spot on the number 1 defense at that time.
It was just like, respect us.
Yep. 100%. So to say that this team isn't going to throw up 30 points today, it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen. I think that if the Colts aren't prepared to get into a shootout and their defense doesn't slow some things down early, that's what it's going to be, and they're going to find themselves on the wrong side of a long day.
Let's think about this. Let's think about this for a second. The Bills are 13-3. That game that they lost against Tennessee, just like you said, it was a wake-up call.
Mm-hmm.
And Sean McDermott was like, okay, we cannot continue to lose focus and, lose consistency like the way we have.
Yep.
And besides the Chiefs in the AFC, to be honest, I don't think there's no team that is suitably ready to come against the Bills at home.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
And I think that if the Bills win today, and I think they will win today, they play the Chiefs. Am I correct?
No, because they're the 2 seed.
Yeah,
okay.
They wouldn't play until the AFC Championship.
Right. So I hope the Chiefs are very much looking closely at the Bills.
They need to be.
Because that's going to be the opponent to be watching. I think everybody in the AFC right now that's in the playoffs needs to pay attention to the Bills. Play very close attention. Their defense is top notch. Their offense is top notch. Stephon Diggs is playing phenomenal.
They just got John Brown last week. They got him back.
Exactly. They just got John Brown last week. So, and they got Kenny Stills.
I know, which is disgusting.
Well, sprinkle on that cake.
Oh wait, what? I think they got this guy named Earl Thomas also.
Yeah, they got Kenny Stills. And Earl Thomas will be added to that boastful defense. Listen, Sean McDermott knows what he's doing. Sean McDermott knows what he's doing, and be honest, right now, I would say I'm putting my finger on it. Bills Super Bowl.
You can see it.
Not the champions, but they will be in the Super Bowl.
Yep. I think the biggest reason why is their defense. And it's not just because of their line, it's because of their secondary.
The whole personnel itself.
It showed look at the Miami Kansas City game. If you put a physical corner on Hill, he disappears. Tre'Davious White is pretty physical. He can be physical. He likes to play physical. So I think you put him on Hill, you just make sure he doesn't get beat deep. But I think if you just play real physical with him at the line like Howard did, it changes the game. Because then you just put everything on Kelsey, and Kelsey's not going to win the game for you. He never has won the game for him.
Yeah, I think that's where Edmonds come in. I think Edmonds will put a good lock on Travis Kelce. It's it's hard to defend a guy like Travis Kelce, but I think Edmonds will definitely do a great job there. And it's just hard for me to choose anybody else over the Bills at this point. I mean, it's just nothing about the Bills right now where it just makes me want to think that they can be beaten.
Besides themselves.
100%. I know I've said it for a couple weeks now. I'm going to keep saying it. They are definitely the team that can travel to Kansas City as long as Kansas City doesn't shoot themselves in the foot because, again, they haven't been that dominant team that you expect to see from them week in and week out. So if they're not careful next week, whoever travels to Kansas City might be upset alert.
Yep.
But we shall see. I just think that Buffalo definitely needs to take care of business. They can totally do it. I have Buffalo winning. So far, unanimous, the four of us, Jason included on this. Obviously, he's not here at the moment. Bills, all of us take the Bills, unanimous sweep across the board. Jason even threw us a score. He said 31-27 final. I'm thinking 35-21.
I'm gonna go with 42-21 because there's nothing that's gonna slow this Bills team unless DeForest Buckner and that defensive line have a just magnificent day and get to Allen and box him up and really make him feel bad. Like,
good luck.
It's not going to happen. The way they've been playing, like it's just they're just playing extremely smart football. They're all playing like they have like a Madden boost of like 10 plus points on each one of their things. Like it's just you can't beat them right now. And I just don't.
They're out there playing video game type football.
Right. Like they got a 10 morale boost or something. It's just crazy. They're playing out of their mind. I just don't foresee Phillip Rivers being able to hang with Allen. I think the Bills continue their 40-point terror, and I think they come out quick, they come out fast, and they're just going to just be all over this Colts team.
Yeah, my score for them will definitely be I'm just going to go out on a limb and say 35-7.
Ooh. What'd you say?
35-7.
35-7?
Yeah.
Listen.
You're talking about Bills
honestly,
smoking.
Right now, the Colts hasn't been playing their best football. I'm just going to go out and say it. I'm just going to go out and say it. They haven't been playing their best football. They lost their touch, since the beginning. And right now in the playoffs, that's just not something that you want to do. You don't want to decline. You want to stay up. And if Frank Reich doesn't have a proper game plan to neutralize the offense and the defense from Buffalo, I mean, it's gonna get ugly. It's gonna get ugly. It's gonna get ugly, and it's gonna get ugly fast. So, but I'm just gonna go out and say it. I don't think that Frank Reich and the Colts are enough to take away the Bills at home with 6,000 plus fans. If they didn't have fans, I would say that home field advantage really doesn't mean anything. But they have fans in the stands. It's the playoffs. It's the wild card. The Bills are in the playoffs once again. They're looking for a Super Bowl. It's Bills all the way.
Yep.
100%. I like it. All right. Well, I'm going to throw ahead trolls to my man, Albatross.
All right. Well, this is the rubber match is here, right? I mean, third meeting of the year between the two. They split them during the regular season. Both teams won at home. But really, I think the interesting side note of these games is both defenses played pretty well. The Seahawks had 6 sacks in both games, 3 apiece. But the one that really gets to me, and I think this is really what kind of neutralizes that X factor on that Seattle team, is in the 2 games that the Rams played them, they had 6 sacks against them in Week 10 and 5 sacks in Week 15. Mr. Leonard Floyd sacked Russell Wilson 5 times this year. So out of those 11 sacks, 5 of them came from Floyd.
Mm-hmm.
He knows how to read something about Russell Wilson. Maybe he sees something.
Yeah, I know what is it? You said 11 this year?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like 15 over their past 3 games.
Right.
So they got it 4 times the
This defense, and not just that, but the D-line can have fun because their pass defense rating is number 1. Yards per game, number 1. Yards per attempt, number 1. They just are absolute ball hawks. When they get the opportunity, they take advantage of it.
Isn't Michael Brockers a main player on their team?
I believe so, yes.
Let's see here.
I believe he's one of their ends.
Rams D-line and Michael Brockers' unique travel experience off reserve COVID list, and he will be available for the game today.
Which is just someone else that Russell Wilson is gonna have to absolutely run and get away from, and it's just not going to happen. I mean, Russell had a great year: 40 touchdowns, 30 picks, 105.1 passer rating. Guy was phenomenal. You can't say anything about him that wasn't phenomenal. I feel like he was the MVP personally. I mean, you're talking about a Seahawks team that if you remove Russell Wilson and his ability to create these plays after the play breaks down,
Yep.
This Seahawks team is in the bottom, even under the 49ers, who had almost 30 people on IR. This team is not very good. They're held together by a couple of good pieces.
Yep.
And don't expect for DK to come out and be like some spectacular guy. I mean, just over his last 4 games, I think he had like 60 yards total over 4 games. Had a couple passes hit him right in his face mask, and he just drops them. Against the Rams, he had 8 receptions for 87 yards.
That's why my money's on Tyler Lockett today.
But I mean, even then, like you're going against this Rams defense that you go away from Ramsey, and Hill's on the other side, and he just picks you off. This defense is they're really good. I think the other thing we need to watch is for Goff, because really the biggest thing that really showed me the difference between the 2 games was Goff's play. You look at the first game in Week 10, he was 27 for 37, and he had 302 yards passing with a 96 passer rating. He didn't score, but he didn't turn the ball over. He kept the ball out of Russell Wilson's hands and allowed his teammates to take care of business. I believe Akers was a big part of their win in that game, if my memory serves me correct. Then we could go just 5 weeks later. He's 22 for 34, 234 yards, but he throws a pick, and he has a passer rating of 61.6. They lose that game. So, I mean, you give him – if he turns the ball over, that's where the Rams start to struggle. You have 2 great options, Cooper Kupp and I believe it's not Brandon Cooks. I can't think. You can see him. They both had over 90 receptions. Both had
Robert Woods.
Thank you, Robert Woods. Both had 90-plus receptions. Both had 950-plus yards receiving. I believe Cooper Kupp had 2 touchdowns, and I believe Woods had like 6 or 7. These guys are good. Both really solid receivers. You're talking almost 100 receptions in a season. Guys are on point. If they can get to them, they'll be okay.
The question is, though, can they do it? I mean, to be honest with you, these 2 teams right here shows who can be the best out of this division. And right now, they both have been playing very inconsistently.
Very.
It's the NFC East, but they actually have more wins.
I mean, yeah, but unlike the NFC East, the NFC East has been harbored by a massive amount of injuries, whereas the only people who's actually has been hit big with injuries in the NFC West is the 49ers. Everybody else has just been playing inconsistent football. That's Arizona, and that's the Rams, and that's the Seahawks right now. But looking at the Seahawks and looking how inconsistent their offensive line is, Leonard Floyd, and then Aaron Donald, I just don't think this is going to be a very brutal game. And to be honest, the way I feel is DK Metcalf just might not have a good day against Jalen Ramsey. That matchup is going to be very, very interesting. And Tyler Lockett just have to be able to get open and carry most of the load.
But one thing for Seattle that I will say, to their point of playing a little more consistent recently, the Seattle's defense hasn't allowed 23 or more points or over 300 yards since Week 9. That was around the time that they added Carlos Dunlap, and ever since that point, the defensive line has been getting more consistent on their ability.
Who were their opponents?
Well, I mean, again, we can argue this point all day. I mean, I could argue this point against the Chiefs all day, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to talk. They played their games, and let's go before that. Since you made that point, before that they were giving up 400 yards a game, almost 500 yards a game. I mean, they were just getting trashed. But after you add just one guy to that D-line and Dunlap, it helped some of the other players start to play at a higher level.
Allowed Jamal Adams to set a franchise record at sacks and the most ever by a DB in a season.
9.5. And here's that's troublesome also, because that means that you're taking that guy out of coverage.
Yeah.
Come get that quarterback. He is the quarterback of your defense, but yet he's rushing to go sack the quarterback. If he doesn't get to that quarterback, that's where that defense starts to struggle. Trust me, you're not going to you're not going to hear me say that the Seahawks and the Rams and the Cardinals are all great. I think the best team in the NFC West is at the bottom of it right now. But that's, again, for another time. We have what these two teams are playing, which is a rubber match. By the way, it's in Lumen Field, no longer known as the Link. It's Lumen Field.
I mean, to be honest, there's one thing I can't say about the Seahawks. In the last 7 games, they've been able to stand at 6-1. As much as I say again, like I said, who are their opponents? I mean, they just playing very good football. I mean, that Giants game got away from them, but they played against the Jets, the football team, the Rams, and then the 49ers. Which I mean, it's just one of those games where you just have to play your best football and hopefully that you can get a win. But I don't know. I picked the Rams because I just like the matchups better. In LA, I like Cooper Kupp is back. Robert Woods is healthy. Not sure exactly what Jared Goff you're gonna get, but then that defense is just aggressive. I think the defense is more aggressive, and I think the Rams can come out on top.
I'm gonna go with the Rams. I'm gonna pick them to. It's gonna be close. This one is gonna be complete polar opposite of what we're gonna watch, in my opinion, with the Indianapolis Buffalo. This is going to be a very, very physical game. You're going to hear some trash talking. You're going to see some guys maybe get into it a little bit. I think the Rams are going to pull out a 21-17 victory just because that defense, like you said, I mean, there's multiple guys on that defensive front for the Rams that have 10-plus sacks. You have Aaron Donald, so I'm going to close the conversation at that. Then you have that the back end playing at such a high level. When the Dolphins had their trip up, it gave the Rams the number 1 title of, points allowed as a defense and all that stuff. So, I mean, this defense, the only other team that had comparable stats in the past game is actually the Pittsburgh Steelers, whose Pittsburgh Steelers secondary was actually quite excellent this year. Yep. So I just think Russell Wilson is going to look for some guys that he's leaned on all year, and they're not going to be there. I think Rams win this game.
I got the Seattle Seahawks pulling it out.
Yes. Hey, I need you to lose so I can find some
celebration. Here's where I'm at.
Twice last week. Twice.
We're about to lose. You'll have to lose all 3 of these, so it's okay. Just kidding. Anywho, so here's where I'm at. I like where their defense is. I think Russell Wilson's kind of been, taking it easy. I think he's been riding the defense train the last couple of weeks. He had the carry the first half of the season, throwing up points, doing everything he can. The defense is finally clicking. He's taking kind of what's been given to him, not taking chances. I think you're going to see that offensive explosion. Not huge, but I think you're going to see that offense click early and click often today. And I got a 24-10 victory.
Nice.
I think Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson are going to do some cooking today.
No cooking. Everything's been burnt coming out of that kitchen. And you have a good point. Russell finished the year. He averaged 6.2 yards per carry. He had 2 touchdowns. I think it was like 550 yards on the ground, maybe 515. I can't remember. He's a threat. He is a threat. He's not going to just go out here and run past you every time. But he's like, he's like that really good kid in hide and go seek, and you can never find him when you need to. And then he just pops up. That's Russell Wilson. Like you're almost going to get him, and then he gets away from you. It'll be interesting, but I do think the Rams will pull it out.
I'm gonna give this a 17-10 game. Rams.
17-10.
We do need to keep in mind that Jared Goff did break his thumb in that matchup against the Seahawks. That's why he didn't play last week. So,
which is why Cam Akers will definitely be the show.
We will see.
He can get laid out. I mean, what? Any Hoosers.
Any Hooties.
Let's get to the game.
Let's move on to the most boring game.
Yes, let's get to this game. Yarby Tom Brady.
Oh, I'm sorry. let's get to the next one here, folks. Honestly, we got your boy here. He's all decked out. He's ready. We're gonna let him run this one. Where you at?
Listen, I love this game specifically because I'm gonna sound like a real homer right now, but I'm loving this game because everybody looking for us to get smacked out and smacked out something terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? That's expected because the way the Bucks have been playing late this season. But Mike Evans just might not play today. So that's a big X factor being crossed out. That is a might. Recently, he did say he would try to play. That's a definite try. Okay, we all seen how that worked out when Deebo Samuels tried to play when they played against San Fran. It didn't work out. But my question is this: you seen the game that they played against the Giants, and that was their defensive front was highly aggressive. They didn't allow the Bucks offensive line to crash them. That would be the key today. You gotta get the interior. You gotta get the interior defense. You gotta get that going. Deron Payne, Tim Settle, they have to be more aggressive. Jonathan Allen, you gotta be more aggressive in the interior. The edge, that's something that Montez Sweat and Chase Young just has. Chase Young. I know. Gives you shivers when I say his name, right?
No.
Chase Young, defensive player of the month.
Nick Bosa.
Chase Young, defensive player of the month, defensive rookie of the year.
Yep.
A lot of people was giving him grief about saying what he said, saying that he wants Tom Brady. Listen, this is what I want to tell everybody, okay? He wasn't saying as if, he know that he can take on Tom Brady. But when you have the opportunity to come up against, a quarterback like, Terrible Tom, you're fired up, you're riled up, and you know what you've been doing this season. Everything that you've had said during the season, you've backed it up. So yes, I'm with him. I want Tom too. I want to sack Tom, and I think that it will happen. I think he will get 2 sacks against Tom Brady. Some people say that Tom Brady won't get touched at all, but he will get touched, and he will get touched rather a few times. Washington football team defense have been very good at getting towards getting the quarterback. At least 2 times per game. So I think that this will be a major factor coming in against the Bucks. But the key to this game is to not allow Tom Brady to sit in the pocket. Don't allow that, because when you allow that, somebody is open. Somebody is open. You allow Tom Brady to stay in the pocket for 7 seconds, somebody is open. All right, doesn't matter who it is. It could be Leonard Fournette off the screen. It could be Chris Godwin off the middle. It could be Antonio Brown off the fly. Somebody will be open if you allow Tom Brady to get there.
I hear you. It's been an interesting thing. So obviously, being the line of work that I am, I'm always listening to sports talk, driving around, checking out houses, all that fun stuff. But when I'm doing this, I'm listening to sports talk radio, and I'm listening to Dan Patrick or Colin, and it has been interesting to hear these takes and things from these teams all week, and what this matchup is and kind of what it sets the table with. I mean, yes, we have a great defense versus, a top-notch offense. That's what you have. But at the same time, what are we going to get from you guys offensively? Is Terry McLaurin playing? Is Gibson playing? What are we going to get from Alex Smith? Again, you can have a great defense, but if you don't know what you're going to get offensively over the course of 4 quarters, that defense probably by second half is going to be like, dude, we're juiced. What's going on? Where's our help?
Well, here's the thing. Yeah, Taylor Heineke has been taking a lot of first team reps throughout the week, and it just might be possible that Taylor Heineke might either be starting. If he's not starting, he will play a lot tonight. And but Alex Smith will be in. Alex Smith will be in. Some people think that playing two quarterbacks in the game is not effective at all, and in the sense that Alex Smith, him being on the field, it just give these players some type of boost,
Mhm. They
and
like playing for Alex.
exactly, and Terry McLaurin will play tonight. Antonio Gibson will play tonight, and Dontrell Inman has been activated off the practice squad for this game. So they're trying to get some big bodies, to for the red zone. But I agree with you. You're not sure exactly what this offense is going to give you. But here's the thing. Here's the thing that I said. Scott Turner just needs to play simple. It's okay. It's okay to throw those trick plays in, but don't get too cute.
Right.
Don't get too cute. One of the things on the defensive side is the secondary just have to be aggressive. Jam these guys up. Just jam these guys up, throw them off. Don't give Tom Brady an easy look. And that's the same thing offensively. If you notice, Alex Smith can get the ball off within 1 or 2 seconds after snap.
Right.
And anything after that, Alex Smith is just looking and looking, and he wants to run so bad, but he can't because of the leg injury.
Hey,
So
there it is.
I think
Breaking news. I apologize. Stephen Diggs, Cole Beasley, active versus the Colts.
yeah.
The Colts
See?
are doomed.
Very
Two,
doomed.
two sources are saying Mike Evans will try to play today.
Yep.
So, all right. Here's what I got. Here's my take.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
If
Already
Alex
terrible
Smith does
time.
not play on offense, I have zero faith in anybody that is under center for the Washington football team. Zero. That would be a horrible thing because there's two totally different football teams that come out. When Alex is under center, this team actually is fun to watch offensively. I'm not talking about defensive. I'm talking offensively. Players play harder. You find guys making catches. Logan Thomas is fun to watch. I love it when they sprinkle in the run game, but they do not play like this when there is anyone else under center. And if he is not under center for at least 50% of those snaps, I don't think that's going to bode well. I think you put him under center as long as you can for as many snaps as you possibly can. You're only exponentially, changing your chance at winning this game. He's not going to turn it over. That's where I don't trust anybody else under center. I just have no faith in anyone besides Alex Smith in that locker room and quarterback room. Defensively, the football team's going to be there. I mean, I'm a 49ers fan. I watched my team dump draft stock into the defensive line, and it just comes out great. You have guys on both sides of the D line coming out with double-digit sacks, and it's awesome when you see all that, come into fruition. But the bad thing also about those guys is they play hard every snap, and that energy starts to drop. If that offense doesn't counterbalance them, Tom Brady knows how to do this. He's done it 6 times at a successful clip. I just don't. It's hard for me to say that the football team can pull this out. Not to say that they can't. I just think Alex Smith is the X factor in creating the opportunity, the best winning opportunity for this team. So I'm
And
going
I
with the
agree with
Bucks.
you.
I'm going with the Bucks just because I've been on the Bucks bandwagon all year. I might as well stay consistent at this fact. So go Bucks. I think it's awesome if the football team wins for the simple fact that I am a huge Alex Smith fan. And how awesome would it be to see this team that everyone talks bad about just continue to persevere through all the hard times? And it's just good football to me. So I mean, either way, I'm going to enjoy this game probably the most out of all of them. So I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah.
What do you got for score?
I don't think Tom's gonna go crazy. I don't think Washington's gonna go crazy. I think it's gonna be really low. I think we're gonna go. I think 17-10.
And like I said, I definitely agree with you on those points. But this week I've been really watching their practices, and Taylor Heineke has been really like um, watching, mimicking, and mirroring Alex Smith and the way he plays, and the respect level with the team is just there with Taylor Heineke. When he came into Carolina's game, you can see that the players were still responding as if Alex Smith was still on the field. And I think now that he's getting more reps with the first team and things like that, these guys, will be looking to make sure that Taylor Heineke has a great game. And but you're right, not having Alex Smith on the field can do a lot. And but I do have faith in Taylor Heineke. I do have faith in Ron Rivera for putting the best personnel on the field, and we can actually pull this off. We just have to play smart football. We can't allow Tom Brady to get multiple looks on the field. We got to limit his vision, his quarterback vision, and if we do that, we can stop their offense. I'm not really worried about the run defense. We're the top. We have the top rushing defense. One of the top rushing defenses in the league, and I think if we're able to neutralize that, if we're able to take away the run game, I think that we can slow Tom Brady down just a tad bit. But this is going to be a crazy game, and my score for this will be 17-13 Washington.
I think it's gonna be a defensive battle. I think it's just gonna come down to a couple plays on offense.
Oh yeah.
So just to review,
The honor.
I totally spaced Jason's last two picks. He did take Seattle over the Rams. He takes them 23-13. And this round, he took the Bucks 27-17. I am taking Harvey Terrible Tom
Of course you are.
28-14.
Ooh, so he's
This
predicting
is
a
why
little
I
more.
say this. If Mike Evans is there, cool. If he's not there, cool. You still got Chris Godwin. You still got Antonio Brown. You still got Rob Gronkowski. You still got Ronald Jones. You still got Leonard Fournette. Use them. You run the ball. Guess what? Tom used to throw to one guy and win him a championship. His name was Julian Edelman. He has three, not one. That's the difference. You guys kind of forget at times. I hate to say it because this hat right here, 6 rings. 6 rings.
Like I said, 6 successful trips at this. He's just really smart. Like
He does. He has
perfect
done
game.
so much more with less.
This is why I love this.
Before this trip, that I think we're kind of okay. Maybe it's the LeBron James effect. Maybe we're getting used to his success, so we're just kind of like, oh, that's Tom Brady now.
Yeah, and honestly, trust me, it's very hard for me to go against Tom Brady.
I mean, if you're a fan, it's what you should be doing. If you weren't doing it, I'd be calling you out right now.
Not even from a fan's perspective. I look at this Washington team, and despite what everybody might say, about our season, I like the way they've been playing.
Yeah.
They've been playing. They Ron Rivera has came in, Jack Del Rios came in, and built this team full of young guys that are hungry, that are gritty, that have that killer instinct, that wants to win under no means necessary. And when they come out every week, even if they lose, you can tell that in the next week they apply that loss and just try so hard to not lose again. And Ron Rivera just makes it known that, listen, I'm only going to put it there for you guys, but you guys have to want it.
Yep.
And every week out, these guys have been playing hard. They've been, even in the Eagles game, despite with the Doug Peterson decision. Washington just came out and they just didn't let up at all. They didn't let up at all. Even with them giving up 2 touchdowns with Jalen Hurts, they just didn't give up. And this is the team where I say, when you have a team like the Washington football team, their backs against the wall. And right now, yes, our backs is against the wall. We got Tom Brady and the Bucks, and they've been doing so great. But I think that with this team, and I think that let's say if it does happen, if they do knock off the Bucks, they do knock off Terrible Tom, it's going to sting. It's going to sting. Not only to the Bucks and Terrible Tom, I think it's going to sting the NFL a little bit.
I can see that. I think
it will catch them off guard, because it won't catch me off guard because I've been paying attention to your team. I pay attention to really where Alex Smith went. I mean, I follow Alex Smith, so even when he was a Chief, I followed the Chiefs a little closely. I follow the Washington football team, so I think it would be a continued, continued reassurance that the program is going in the right direction for the first time in decades.
Yes. And I will say that I think this game and a game tomorrow, which we will cover tomorrow, are probably the 2 biggest smelling upsets. And I think those are the only possibilities of upsets this weekend. I think the other games are kind of, you can see it going both ways, but I think majority of people see this game going one way and the game tomorrow going one way. And I think that, again, depending on the offense, if the offense can show up and back up your defense, Washington will be in it. If they allow Tom Brady and the Bucks to run the ball and establish the run game to set up the pass, I think you guys are going to be in for a long day.
But in other news, Dwayne Haskins is expected to visit the Panthers sometime this week. So,
which is interesting. Curious to see how that goes.
Yeah, it's very interesting because even when Dwayne Haskins got released, I said that him going somewhere where he can actually benefit from, and one of those teams was the Panthers. Got Matt Rule, and with Matt Rule, he's actually he's been very good with Teddy Bridgewater and PJ Walker, and having Dwayne Haskins there, that can be very great, and it can be great, very great. So that was great to see that.
That's good news.
I totally think that's a good opportunity for him, but I don't know. I don't like the kid's attitude.
Yeah. We'll see how he matures.
I don't like the kid's attitude. Yeah, let's just hope that he can actually mature and put it behind him and actually want to put his head down and grind at the game and not expect everything to be handed to him, because that was kind of his deal. He expected it to be handed to him, and when it wasn't, he threw a fit. And that's just not the way you handle things.
Nope.
But bold predictions. Anybody got any? Anybody, anywhere? Player, something. I think
Chase Young.
What you got?
Chase Young will have 3 sacks, a forced fumble.
Yeah.
Dang.
All right. Well, I got Josh Allen throwing for 350 yards.
That's not a bold prediction.
Okay, and running for 100 also. So 450 all-purpose.
Oh, okay.
I'm just gonna pull one out. I didn't really even think about anything like this. I'm gonna go with Rojo running for $120.
Ooh. That would hurt. That would hurt Washington's
It's not
ego
gonna happen,
a little bit. That defense, they'd probably get hurt by that a little
it's
bit.
not gonna happen. But
I mean, I didn't think the Dolphins defense was going to give up 56, but here we sit.
Anything can happen. That's the beautiful about playing. That's why we play the game, because anything can happen.
So here we go, guys. Closing.
By the way, time out. Another bold prediction.
Oh, go ahead.
Stephen Diggs will have 200 yards passing.
Receiving. That's interesting.
Really? I mean, that'd be great for me because I got money on him today.
That'd play right up his bold prediction.
Oh, man.
Closing thoughts.
Right. That's where I'm at, man. So, closing thoughts here. I like the little quick morning show. It's definitely nice. Get it out of the way in the sense of get ready for football. We're about 45 minutes. 55 minutes to an hour out. But it's nice. I think it was a good little thing. I like how we all had our own little thing set up there. I think we'll kind of do something kind of similar tomorrow. And obviously we got some games to look forward to. Curious to see if maybe we do get that upset. But I don't think Terrible Tom's going to let it happen.
I don't know. I'm sitting here thinking to myself, should I try to make this is the first show of our playoff run. I'm picking the Bills to win the Super Bowl.
Oh,
I think it'll be Bills Packers. Bills win.
Yeah, I think honestly, I think history will be remade. You know where I'm going with this. Bills going to the Super Bowl. Bold prediction. History being remade.
They win.
Bills Washington football team.
Oh wow. Homer.
Oh.
That was the ultimate Homer statement just now.
I love it.
I think we're going to have Bucks Bills and Tom loses.
Ooh, to an old foe.
Yeah.
You know what I like about us so far? We all understand that the Bills are going in the AFC. Good job, guys. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, I like the history aspect of it. There's just been a lot of history with the Washington football team this season, and like I said, we always play either the Bucks or the Seahawks in the wild card. We have the Bucks,
that's true.
But we have the Bucks now, and I think we'll, if we knock off Terrible Tom, I don't really think there's nobody else in the NFC who's willing to go up against the Washington football team, except for Drew Brees and all. But
All right, guys.
I don't know. We'll see. I think we're gonna have some fun talking about these games tomorrow.
Well, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys tomorrow bright and early.